6 ways to become an EP sailor in the Navy. I can't speak on the Marines, I can't speak on the Army or the Air Force, but I'm pretty sure it's all the same and is really relative regardless of what branch you're in, right? So becoming an EP sailor, which is an early promote sailor, is highly important because that weighs a lot when it comes to advancement. As everyone knows, I mean, I've missed, E4 before because I got an MP instead of getting an EP. That's neither here nor there, but you know what I mean? If you get yourself an EP, you're pretty much almost guaranteed, especially if you have an EP average, to make that next rank and to make your prospective rank that you're pursuing. So these are the things that I've learned within my 7 years of being in the military. I would say in the beginning as an E1, E2 was a lot of trial and error, but E3, I kind of came into my own. I was able to bring my personality and bring my work ethic to the job, and I was constantly rewarded. So I'm gonna actually post my evals somewhere in here, whether it be the right or the left, or it might be switched because of obviously the camera flipping, but you get the point. So these are my 6 ways of being an EP sailor, the things that work for me, the things that work for my junior sailors when I passed along the same information, and I'm sure it will work for you as well. Number 1 thing, collateral duties. Collateral duties are very important, right? So when you're in the military, they want to see that you're a leader, that you can multitask and that you can balance out multiple things at one time. I was a yeoman, so if I'm just solely at my desk doing yeoman work, there's no way I'm going to be able to separate myself amongst the rest of the group. So when I was in the military, when I was, active duty, I held some of the biggest positions that you possibly could hold. So CFL, sapper, victim advocate, DAPA, UPC. I didn't hold DAPA and UPC, but I held the CFL and I held sapper VA. Even if you're not a CFL, you can become an ACFL, and that doesn't matter what your rank is. As a CFL, it has to be an E6 and above. I was a CFL as an E5 with a waiver, but you can be a CFL as an E5 as long as you display the right, work ethic and you display the organizational skills. They'll put you in a position to be a CFL. To be an ACFL, there's no really requirements except for the fact that you have to have an excellent low. As long as you don't even have to go to the school. So as long as you can get an excellent low, you could be an E2. I've had, I've hired, not hired, but I've had 3 or 4 different E3s help me as ACFLs, and that shot them up when it came to rankings, just because it shows like, okay, this guy clearly possesses leadership skills, or this girl clearly possesses leadership skills. She's an ACFL, like, man, she's doing great. So collateral duties is very, 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 very important. Now, I'm not saying that just because you have a whole bunch of collateral duties, if you're not doing them well, that's another story. But as long as you're doing your job well, your primary job, whether it be a boatswain's mate, a DC, YN, PS, LS, it doesn't matter what your rate is. If you're good at your rate and you hold a collateral duty, you're golden. Second thing, education, right? So you should want to do it for yourself. College is not for everybody, but if you're showing an effort and an initiative to further your education, you're golden. Like if you have collateral duties and you're going to college, that means that you're not just you're worried. You want to work on yourself. You want to try to develop yourself as a person. You're not just coming to work, doing your work, and then leaving from work. If you're just coming to work and if you're not going above and beyond, don't expect to get an EP. You might not get it. You might not even get an MP, depending on the size of your summary group. So just putting that out there, right? Third, volunteer. Volunteering, everybody can pretty much do that, but when it comes to black and white, you can't argue that. So if you're doing your collateral duties, you're going to college, you have your education down pat, and you're volunteering. So whether that be the Humane Society, whether you're volunteering for dogs, whether you're picking up trash, there's so many ways to volunteer. You can actually volunteer by going to a CDC and volunteering your time at the CDC. So and it gets you out of work too. I'm not advocating the fact that you should get out of work. I'm just saying, like, you can volunteer during working hours, so you might as well do it. It shows that you're willing to give back to the community, and it makes sure, so when you go on your evals, when it has command, oh man, I should know this. It's organizational command and organizational impact or something like that. Then that's going to show if you've been volunteering and your collateral duties, that's going to be 5 right there. You out of there. Display leadership, right? So when it comes to like leading forward walk down, when it comes to cleaning stations, when it comes to you know, just helping just the command out. If you can display the right leadership along with everything else that I listed, you're obviously possess the skills to get to an E4 position, E5 position, E6 position, and chief and beyond. So the thing is, they want to see how mature are you. You could be 18, 19. I was 20 at the time, and I was holding some of the biggest collateral duties while going to college and volunteering at the same time. So you could do it. It's possible. Age does not determine your maturity. It's just more so of your desire and your willingness to want to be that top sailor. It's competitive. You got to think, if you have a summary group of 45 people, you have to make sure it's not, I mean, you're not competing with them, you're competing with yourself. But at the end of the day, when it comes to that black and white, you want to make sure you stand out amongst your peers. You know what I mean? Don't be too nice and be like, oh, well, this guy has been in for 14 years. He's about to get, you know, he's about to get hit higher tenure. You know, he deserves the EP. No, you deserve the EP, because at the end of the day, you know, you could be very much so in that same position. Depending on what your rate is, your quotas could be super low. You could be an HM, and now you're stuck as an E3 and E4 for 7-8 years because you didn't want to go above and beyond where you could have been at. You know what I mean? I'm a very big advocate for you get in, you get out what you put into it. So if you're not really putting in too much work and you're not putting in too much effort, I say this to people I'm cool with, people I'm not cool with. And as I was getting out of the military, I made sure to drop these same gems to the people that were interested in knowing how I constantly kept getting EPs. So you have to be that person. You know what I mean? You have to be that person, which brings me to the next, to be a go-to person. You don't have to be a go-to, but strive to be a go-to person.